Hello and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to go over the NFL for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And we're going to go over the NFL today. We're going to start with the Green Bay versus Detroit. These are the opening odds. As you can see on the screen, we're going to focus on this one faded out to the left. Then we're going to go to ones to the right based off FD and their odds. But we're going to go over that in a moment. Let's go over the opening odds real quick. We're going to start with the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions, the first game of the day. Plus 120 for Green Bay on the money line, minus 142 on the ML. But of course, we apply reduction to that, and we apply that to any numbers or any parallels that we find. 120 here for the opening money line for Green Bay, 142 for Detroit. 21 here for Green Bay on the opening money line. We reduced them. 1 plus 20 is 21, and 12 plus 0 is 12, and 1 plus 2 plus 0 is 3. And that's just how we get these values here. 142 reduces to 43, 16, and 7. And currently, the money line for Green Bay Detroit is plus 130, minus 154 for Detroit. Opening odds are usually the most telling because we analyze the opening odds. They're the stagnant, they're the opening, and we base any parallels based off of numbers wise, based off the opening odds, which is why we include them when we're going through the odds and movements and things like that, and decoding things within the odds, and we apply that there. Spread plus 2.5 for Green Bay, minus 2.5 for Detroit, plus 100 for Green Bay, minus 122 for Detroit. Green Bay opened at plus 2.5 at minus 105 cost. Detroit opened at minus 2.5 at minus 115 cost. On the spread, that is on the spread. Currently, the total is at over under 48.5, minus 104. Minus 118 is, and that is of course based off FanDuel here. That's what we base it off of. The most reliable when it comes to analyzing the odds and what is going to happen during to determine the outcome of a game. Open at 48.5, minus 110 cost even. Under has a much higher cost now at minus 118 currently. All right, we're going to go over the expected value based off of the opening odds. All right, based off the opening odds, 44% win percentage for Green Bay, 56% win percentage for Detroit. Minus 320 expected value for Green Bay. And how do we get expected value? Let me scroll down. Oh, let me go back up. Sorry. Now, the picks and the props will be on the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video. Now, minus 456, 456, $4.56 for Detroit expected value. And how do we get that? Expected value formula is here. And what is it? The measure of what a bettor can expect to win or lose on each bet placed on the same odds time and time again. And it is based off, we base it off of $100 wagers here on the channel. Now, let's go over we'll go over the splits last, even though you're seeing it here. We'll go over these last as we analyze where this game is going. Now, currently, or should I say on Monday, plus 122 money line movements. We're going over the odds movements now. Plus 122 for Green Bay, minus 144 for Detroit. 16% betting percentage for Green Bay, 27% money percentage for Green Bay. 84% betting going with Detroit, 73% money going with Detroit. That is on Monday, 11/24, 11/25 on Tuesday. Plus 124 for Green Bay, minus 146 for Detroit. 21% win percentage for Green Bay, 27% money percentage for Green Bay. 79% betting going with Detroit, 73% money going with Detroit. That is, now, with that being said, minus 144 turns into minus 146, even though the betting percentage went down. When the percentage goes down, what do you expect? The money percentage to go down, even though it didn't. But the odds increase for Detroit, which gives you some indicator on who is going to get this victory. The odds increased while the betting percentage decreased, anticipating a decrease with the money. If you were a bookie, when you're betting, you have to think like a bookie. Don't think like a bettor. You have to think like the bookie. With that even though the money didn't go down, the odds went up. That's an anticipation move, because it could have just stayed the same at minus 144. They went down to minus 146. They went down to minus 146. And now they're up to minus 154, but we'll go over the current odds and splits in a moment. Spread odds movements, 2.5. It is 2.5 currently as well at plus 100, minus 122. Plus 100 for Green Bay, minus 122 for Detroit. Currently it is on Monday, it was minus 105, minus 115 for Detroit. 45% betting percentage for Green Bay, 64% money percentage for Green Bay. All right, Detroit. Let's see. All right, Detroit, 55% betting here. 55% betting for Detroit, 36% money going with Detroit on the spread, 11.24. 11.25 plus 2.5 and minus 105 cost, 49% betting, 63% money. Minus 2.5 for Detroit, minus 115 cost on Tuesday, 51% betting percentage, 37% money percentage for Detroit. Total odds movements, Monday, 11.24. Over under, minus 110 cost, 32% going with the over, 31% money going with the over. Under is getting 68% and 69% money, 68% betting. Tuesday, it went from 37%. We're going to go over both the spread and the totals in a moment, why they moved the way they moved. Over, under, why they didn't really move the way they moved. minus 105 cost for the over from the minus 110 cost even from Monday. Now minus 115 under on Tuesday at 11.25, November 25th. 37% betting percentage on the over, 37% money percentage, 63% and 63% on the under on the betting and the money. Now, the higher cost went to that under once the money and the betting went lower, indicating how would you make more money if you were a bookie? Think about it. How would you make more money if you were a bookie if the money percentage decreased? What do you see in society? They see a increase in tariffs, decrease in customer spending, prices inflate. And that's how it happens. Sports betting is no different from gematria, it's no different from stocks. It's no different. It's just a different form. It's just a different form. 55% betting here, 36% money here, 51% betting for Detroit, 37% money here. Now it went from minus 115 to minus 115. Nothing has really changed. But currently, the spread is at minus 122 for Detroit. Significant increase. And we're going to go over the splits now on where it is now. Let's go over where it is now. Excuse me, let's go up. All right. 22% on the money line for Green Bay, 78% for Detroit. 20% money for Green Bay currently, 80% money for Detroit on the money line. Spread, 43%. Going with Green Bay, 57% going with Detroit on the betting. On the money, 45% going with Green Bay, 55% going with Detroit. Over under, 46% going with the over, 54% going with the under on the betting. Money percentage on the total, over 43%, under 57%. Now let's go over where, one moment, 46% and 43%. Okay, so the spread has, we'll just start with the spread, 57% and 55% for Detroit. 57 and 55%. The money has significantly increased for Detroit, and they increase the price significantly. Now, whenever you see it go to minus 122, plus 100. Wait, let me scroll up a little bit. Minus 122 plus 100, as you can see right here where it is now. That is the current odds as of early Thursday morning. Normally, the minus 122 will only hit if the odds were to adjust later on. In other words, this minus 122 will probably have to turn into minus 118, while the other one turns into minus 104. But the plus 100s actually hit only on the money lines more. Only on the money lines. When it's the total or the spread, they rarely hit. But obviously, I'm telling you, this could change because of minus one. If that turns into minus 118, Detroit could get it easily. And this turns into minus 104. But if Green Bay goes up to minus 104 in this kind of game, and the money line stays at minus 154 plus 130 for Green Bay, minus 154 here, then you would have to go with Detroit on the ML and on the spread. Any adjustments on the spread costs go with Green Bay across the board. But let's go to the next game. Spent enough time on that one. All right. Kansas City versus Dallas. Opening money line, minus 195, plus 165, minus 195 here, plus 165. They have been reduced, as you can see here. And we apply that to any number parallels that we find. Minus 180 currently as a favorite. The Chiefs are plus 150 for Dallas. Spread, minus 3.5 points, plus 100 for Kansas City. 3.5 points here for Dallas, minus 122 for Dallas currently. A lot like the last game, plus 100, minus 122. But this is a different case. Opening odds on the spread, minus 3.5 points. 3.5 point favorites are the Chiefs at minus 104 cost. 3.5 point favorites are the Cowboys at minus 118 cost. Over under, minus 110. Opened at over 47.5 at minus 111, 47.5 at minus 111. Normally you'll get the minus 111s. Those are normally just placeholder numbers when they didn't have, pardon me about that, when they didn't have the minus 110 up. Should be minus 110, but they put it at minus 111, and we'll keep it consistent that way. That's why I have it on here. Now, let's scroll down to the expected value. Expected value, to measure what a bettor can expect to win or lose on each bet placed on the same odds time and time again. Opening odds, Kansas City, 64% win percentage based off the minus 195 plus 165 for Dallas, gives them a 36% win percentage. $3.18 expected value for Kansas City, $4.60 expected value for Dallas. Kansas City win percentage, 62%. Currently, minus 180 plus 150 currently in that game. 62% win percentage for Kansas City, 38% win percentage for Dallas. Negative $3.56 expected value for the Chiefs, negative $5 even expected value for Dallas currently, based off that plus 150, minus 180 for the Chiefs. And it is, of course, based off $100 wagers. Now, let's go over the odds movements. Currently, Monday, 11/24, minus 180. Kansas City has been consistent all week. Dallas has decreased to plus 150. Plus 150. Now, with Dallas beating the Super Bowl champs on Sunday afternoon, that is going to make a lot of people go with the Cowboys in this game, impulse betting. They're going to impulse bet the Cowboys in this game. And as you can see, it has fallen off. But we'll go over that here in a moment. It has somewhat fallen off throughout the week. But it is going to increase throughout as we approach game time. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Minus 180 on Monday. 90% betting for Kansas City. 82% money for Kansas City on Monday. On Tuesday, minus 180 again for Kansas City. Plus 152 for Dallas. 85% betting percentage for Kansas City, 75% money for Kansas City. Money has gone down, then it has gone up, then it has inevitably kind of like leveled out. Spread, 3-point favorites, now 3.5-point favorites are the Chiefs, but on Monday, 3-point favorites at minus 115 cost. Same thing on Tuesday, 3-point favorites at minus 115 cost for Kansas City, minus 105 cost, minus 105 cost for the Cowboys. On Monday, 42% betting percentage going with Kansas City. However, they were only getting 23% of the money. 31% betting percentage for Kansas City on Tuesday, and they were only getting 13% of the money, decreased on the money. Currently, well, we'll go over that in a moment. Total over under 51.5, 51.5 on Tuesday as well. Minus 120 cost on Monday, 11% win percentage for the over, 8% money for the over, 89% and 92% going under. The odds decrease for the over in the positive direction, minus 115 to minus 105 here. The under has increased in the negative direction, which makes it a little more valuable, as their odds practically remained the same. 1% difference. 12% betting going over, 9% money going over. So it was a 1% difference from Monday to Tuesday on the total. Now let's go over currently where we are. And let me scroll down. All right. Picks and props will be on the Patreon. 78% going with Kansas City, 22% going with Dallas, 74%, that is money line betting. 74% going with the money on the money line, going with Kansas City, 26% going with Dallas on the money line, on the money. Betting percentage on the spread, 35% going with Kansas City, 65% going with Dallas. 23% going with Kansas City on the percentage of money, 77% going with Dallas. Over, under. So as you can see, Chiefs have gotten their numbers back, especially here with this 23% money, which they had on Monday. But they significantly increased here with 35% on the betting on the spread. And their spread is currently at plus 100, as you can see right here. Currently at plus 100. The plus 100s hit slightly more than the minus 122s, only if, as I stated, only if the money line is a dog. Kansas City is a dog. Kansas City is a dog in this game. Unlike the last game, the plus 100, Green Bay is a Kansas City is a favorite. They're a favorite. So the plus 100s hit more when it's a favorite. When they're a dog, they hit as well, but these odds are going to have to change if a dog is going to win that game. But let's stay on topic. Now, Cowboys have gone back up to plus 152, as you can see right here. They were at plus 150 a few minutes ago. Plus 150. Their money has increased. Has increased on the ML, on the money line, that is, money percentage, slightly though, since then. 84% going under, 85% going under. So the under has been dominating all week, even though it has decreased in the money. A significant, about 6-7% throughout the week. But to this point, the under is at minus 106, minus 114 now. Minus 114 here, minus 106 here now. Under is increasing in the money while increasing in the cost while decreasing in the money, which gives you an indicator the under could take it in this game. It could take it in this game, but the over looks promising as long as it doesn't get to near level out. In other words, if it gets to minus 112 going over, minus 108 going under, then you would go at that over in that instance, as long as it evens out. And it looks like it's evening out. So stay tuned for that over under if you bet totals. Now, ML, with the Cowboys going back up to plus 152, they're playing with their odds too much while leaving Kansas City stagnant. They're leaving Kansas City stagnant. Not as many people are betting on Dallas as they had hoped, but you're going to get a lot of impulse buying with the sharps. Sharps are the heavy bettors that bet late, and they're going to put money on Dallas in this game. If that is the case, watch what happens with the odds. If the odds go to plus 160, plus 158, plus 170, it probably won't get that. It probably won't get to that extent, but it'll probably get to 160, something like that. Definitely go at Kansas City in this game. But let's go to the next one, the night game. the Bengals versus Ravens. Plus 185 opening for the Bengals, minus 122 for the Ravens. 185 reduces to 86, 23, and 14. Separate the integers, add them together. That's what you will get. Currently is 285 and 360. Let's see if that holds up. Yes, 285 and 360 for Bengals and Ravens respectively. Spread plus 7 for the Bengals, minus 106 cost here. Minus 7 here for the Ravens at minus 114 cost here. Opened at 5.5, minus 110 cost even. 5.5 favoring the Ravens. Over under. Currently it is at 51.5, minus 115 cost going over. Minus 105 going under. 51.5. Opened at 49.5 at minus 110 cost. Even. Over under. Now let's go over the expected value for this game. Too far. All right, expected value. 34% win percentage based off that opening, plus 185, minus 225. 66% win percentage for Baltimore. That gives them negative $4.67 expected value. That gives Cincinnati a negative $3.10 expected value. Cincinnati win percentage 25% to 75% based off the plus 285 and minus 360. That gives the Bengals a negative $3.75 expected value, and that gives Baltimore a negative $4.17 expected value. Normally when you see consistency with the opening and the current, with the favorite leading the expected value numerically, as far as see they're above Cincinnati on the opening and the current. Normally the favorite will take it, but watch how they adjust those odds, because the way they adjust those odds, Baltimore could go lower expected value here quite easily, and they're only just about they're under 50 cent difference. That's not a big difference. They could just change those odds, just tweak them a little bit, go higher with Baltimore's, or they could just go lower altogether, lower both odds together, and you can end up with Cincinnati being higher expected value currently than Baltimore. But let's go over the odds where they are right now. All right, odds movement. Cincinnati plus 295, minus 370 for Baltimore. 3% betting percentage for the Bengals. 6% money for the Bengals. 97% betting for the Ravens. 94% money for the Ravens. That is on Monday. Tuesday, plus 270 for the Bengals, minus 335 for the Ravens. 7% betting percentage for Cincinnati. 14% money for Cincinnati. 93% betting for Baltimore. 86% money for Baltimore. Spread odds movements 11-24. Plus 7, minus 7. Minus 105 going with the Bengals. Minus 115 cost going with the Ravens. 72% betting percentage going with Cincinnati. 75% betting percentage going with Cincinnati on Monday. That decreased quite a bit on Tuesday. Same 7-point favorites are the Ravens. Minus 110 cost even there. 64% now for the Bengals and 66% money now for the Bengals on Tuesday. Total odds movements. Monday, 11-24. 51.5, minus 112 cost going over, minus 108 going under. The under is dominating now, and 80% going under on the betting, 82% going under on the money. Tuesday, 11-25. Over under 51.5. Minus 115 going over, minus 105 going under. The under decrease in their percentages, 74% now going with the betting, 72%, 10% difference going with the money. Let's see where it is currently. All right. As you can see right here, 11% going with Cincinnati on the money line on the betting currently. 89%, this is early Thursday morning, 89% going with Baltimore. 28% on the money line going with Cincinnati. 72% going with Baltimore on the money line. Spread percentage of bet, 62% going with Cincinnati. 38% going with Baltimore. Percentage of money, Cincinnati, 58% going with Cincinnati on the spread, 42% going with Baltimore on the spread. So spread wise, Cincinnati has decreased quite a bit from the 70s to 60s, now in the 50s with the spread percentages. So they're decreasing, people putting more money on the Ravens to win by a touchdown and an extra point. Over under total, 39% going over on the betting, 61% going under currently. Percentage of money on the total, over is getting 43%, under is getting 57%. Now, the way these odds moved on the spread that is decreased to minus 110 here, minus 110 here, minus 114 here. All right, so it's minus 114 now. Negative 114 going with the Ravens. They're increasing in their value. Let's see where they were earlier. Hold on. Okay, so it's still the same. It's still the same, but it's up from Tuesday. It's up from Tuesday to minus 114 from minus 110. And they're getting and they're getting a higher percentage. So with them getting, as long as the signs show that Baltimore is increasing, especially on the spread, because the spread is where you make your money, go with Baltimore across the board. Total over under. The odds are, hold on, where the splits are now. Scroll down. Under is getting 57%, down from 82 to 72 to now 57% of the money. That is a significant change in 3 days. And what's the cost on that? 112. The under is going from minus 108, minus 105 to currently minus 105. Okay. 105's hit more so than the minus 115s. And I would lean toward that under only if that over does not decrease below it. As long as the under stays beneath the over, go with the under in that instance, especially at that 105. So that's what I would do there. The money line. Now it's 89 and 72 going with money, betting and money on the Ravens. 89% betting, 72% money. Down from 94.86. And now it is 72. And their odds have increased to minus 360. Baltimore looks decent in this game across the board as they're moving these odds. Baltimore looks decent across the board as they're moving these odds only, though. But constantly pay attention to where these odds move. If you see, for example, if you see how Kansas City is locked at this minus 180. They're toying with these odds here for a reason. People putting heavy money on Kansas City and things like that. Yeah, they're putting heavy money on Kansas City. 74% money right now. 78% here. And they're not moving those odds. The only way I see Kansas City winning this game is if it holds those splits, maintains it, and then they're able to increase those odds, increase their odds. That's the only way Kansas City looks like they could take this one across the board. But they are at that plus 100, and they are a favorite. They're plus 100, and they're a dog. Green Bay is. So look out for that. But watch how they adjust these odds. They're only moving one team at a time. Normally they'll move two, but as we approach game time, they will move two as the odds get more, as volume increases. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Pray every day. I've been Scott. Take it easy.